Welcome back to another BikeRide.com review. My name is Scott and I'm your host behind the handlebars, testing out another e-bike. Today we're looking at a manufacturer that should be familiar to all of you who watch the channel. It's Himiway and we've got their Rambler e-bike. Now this is a sleek new model from Himiway and it's part of its Urban A lineup, which comes equipped with some cool features like a Bafang M600 mid-drive motor, a 9-speed drivetrain, step-through frame, and bright 500 lumen headlight. It's not without its cons though, as we discover while putting it to the test for its climbing ability, range, and general performance. You know that we like to get into the details here at Bike Ride and bring you the best and the worst about every bike. So keep watching to find out all the positives and the negatives about the Himiway Rambler. Now, if you're in a rush, try using our handy chapter timestamps in the description or on the video timeline to skip ahead to the info that you want to know. Before I roll the intro, if you enjoy these videos, please help me out on the channel by leaving me a like, subscribing, and hitting the notification button. Your comments and likes are the best way to support the channel and help us to keep producing new reviews and videos. So thanks for your help, and I'll see you in the comments. Now let's go ride some bikes. So what is the Himiway Rambler? Well, Himiway is the creator of a wide range of bikes, which are suitable for everything from urban commuting to some high-powered off-road fun, all depending on the bike that you choose. The Rambler is one of its step-through city commuting bikes, and it's available in 3 different build options to suit your needs and your budget. Today we have the top-of-the-line Rambler model with us, and it's the Rambler Premium. The Rambler and the Rambler Upgraded both use a 500-watt hub motor for power. The base option, the Rambler, also comes equipped with a 7-speed tourney drivetrain and mechanical disc brakes. Now the higher priced options, both the Rambler Upgraded or the Rambler Premium, both offer some upgrades over the basic build. The Rambler Premium is the model that we have in the studio with us today. And some of the upgraded items include a 9-speed drivetrain and hydraulic brakes, which have 180mm rotors. The Rambler Premium also ditches the hub motor for a Bafang M600 mid-drive motor. So it's a nice looking commuter bike, and I'm immediately impressed by the design and that bright headlight that it has on it. Now the M600 mid-drive is also impressive, claiming a whopping 120 Newton meters of torque for climbing hills and accelerating. So how is this going to affect riding? Step-through bikes like this often have a lot of frame flex, with the mid-drive motor also affecting the design of the frame. We're going to have to test this bike to see if it's going to be an issue. And first looks also revealed that the air shock front fork did not seem to be inflated to the proper PSI. So will this suspension fork be a good companion for the bike, or is it another budget suspension component with lackluster performance? The only way to know is to ride some bikes. So let's see what happens with our pro and con section next. Starting off with the pros, and our first pro for the Rambler Premium is that mid-drive motor that's on the unit. So the M600 Bafang mid-drive motor is a nice companion for the bike, and it offers a natural riding experience. The torque sensor allows for responsive motor performance during acceleration or hill climbing, with some powerful motor assistance to move the bike at least when the battery is above 20%. The motor offers an intuitive and natural riding feel that's well matched to your pedaling, making you feel like you have superhuman strength. I found the M600 to be a fairly quiet motor during operation, with less noise than a rear hub motor. The addition of a throttle on the bike is also a nice touch for the mid-drive. It helps you to get started from a dead stop or if you want to take a break from pedaling. Pro number 2 for the Rambler is the 9-speed drivetrain that we have on the Rambler Premium. It's definitely a higher priced drivetrain than some of the lower priced options with the Shimano Altus drivetrain. It offers better shifting and a more precise lever feel than lower priced shifters like the Tourney. The Premium Rambler also sees a good upgrade with the Altus and its 9-speed 13 to 32 tooth cassette, as opposed to the 7-speed 14 to 28 tooth which is available on the base model. The additional gearing is great for the pedal assist bike. It offers a better range to help you find a good cadence at different speeds, and this enhanced gearing also allows the mid-drive motor to have more range, ensuring you can get the proper amount of speed or torque required for different riding situations. And our third pro for the Rambler is the bright headlight with an integrated light sensor. So it's a 500 lumen headlight, which is large and bright, and it definitely offers an upgrade over other brands. The light can be turned on with the control pad, or it has a light sensor which is located in the display that automatically turns on the light in darker situations. It's a pleasant upgrade for the bike that's going to be well liked by most commuters and riders. The bike also includes a rear-facing light, which has both a steady light for visibility and a braking indicator. These lights are both integrated into the bike's electronics, and they're controlled by the control pad or that automatic light sensor for both. And now we got to get down to the cons. And our first con for the Rambler is the frame flex. So the Rambler frame has a lot of flex while you're out riding. And this is despite having a reinforced frame that features a piece of tubing above the bottom bracket. Shaking the bike back and forth allows the entire frame to flex and move. And this flex is also visible, and it's able to be felt while you're riding the bike over dips and bumps or while you're taking a sharp turn. The ability of the frame to flex makes it feel a little bit loose while you're out riding, which didn't really leave you with feeling very confident on the bike. I'd also be worried about the long-term impacts of this ability for the frame to flex, since it may lead to some issues later, especially at the various weld points that are located throughout the frame. The second con for the Rambler is the small, low-contrast display that it has. It was very disappointingly small, and was quite challenging to see in some situations. I found that it was just too small for good functionality. And the optional features such as a watt meter, range, and odometer are shown as a very small set of numbers towards the bottom of the screen. This meant that you really had to strain to see it, even in good lighting. And when glare or water was impacting your view, the display was almost impossible to see. So I found it pretty disappointing after riding other Himiway bikes, which feature larger, higher contrast displays. Despite the fact that the display offered some good options, such as that live watt meter and even a remaining range estimate, it was challenging to see, and its size really made it less than optimal on the bike. And the final con for the Rambler Premium is bike sizing. So the Rambler has a claimed height range of 5'2" all the way up to 6'4", and I find this hard to believe. I'm 6 feet tall, and I found myself using up the full seat extension, but still not finding the length needed for my legs to get a proper pedal position. It was pretty close, but I could have used an additional inch or two on that seat to really dial it in. This is due to the small seat post measurement of 15.5 inches, as well as a short stack at 19.2 inches. So I would find it hard to believe that someone up to 4 inches taller than me could really find a comfortable ride on the bike to pedal. So you're going to want to be careful if you're a taller rider looking at the Himiway. Anyone over 6 feet, I would say. So what does it do best? Well, the Rambler Premium is a Class 3 e-bike technically, with a top speed that's set at 25 mph from the factory. It comes equipped with a Bafang M600 mid-drive motor, which is definitely a worthy upgrade over the 500-watt rear hub motor on the lower-priced build options. The motor was a good performer, offering the intuitive application of power that is a hallmark of the mid-drive setup. The bike also benefits from enhanced gearing, with its 46-tooth chainring and a 12 to 32-tooth 9-speed cassette. The shifting is clean and crisp with the Shimano Asira shifter, and it's a good companion for the mid-drive motor. Now the motor and drivetrain are also well paired, and they offer good performance even on steeper hills, so long as you're attacking them with battery levels that are above 10 to 20%. In general, I enjoyed the bike's performance, and I found it easy to control and ride. While the display is a little small and it could definitely have a higher contrast to it, the controls are intuitive, and the bike offers all the information a rider could need. It has some nice additional features as well, like the range estimate and live watt meter. The bike is also fully equipped for city riding, with a rear rack, bright lights, and fenders standard, making it ready to ride right out of the box. So what are some reasons to look elsewhere? Well, despite the fact that the Rambler is a well-designed bike, it did show a few issues with its design during our testing. The first item that really stood out was the amount of frame flex that was present in the frame. This was mainly visible if you shook the bike side to side while riding, not something you normally do, but it was present. It also meant that when you were riding over bumpy terrain, you could feel that flex. And while it didn't really affect the ride quality much, it did make the bike feel less confident. I'd also be really interested to see how the longevity of the bike is affected, especially for those riding with cargo or maxing out its weight capacity. Another item to consider is the fact that the bike and battery are not currently UL certified. Our contact at Himiway says that they're in the process of completing this certification, but it's not yet complete. The bike also felt a bit small for my 6-foot height, with the stack and seat tube measurements limiting the amount of size that you can get out of it. And they didn't allow me to get a full leg extension as I would like to see for pedal efficiency and comfort. So I can't see this bike fitting people up to 6'4". The final issue with the bike for me was a significant decrease in the capability at lower battery levels. The bike seems to really limit power to approximately 250 watts when you get down below 20% battery capacity. The result is that the bike is really not going to climb hills as fast as it did at higher battery capacities. In fact, it's much slower. So while this feature definitely extends the range to push you home at low speed, the huge difference in capability between the bike at full power compared to when it's down to around 10% is pretty shocking. And this means that if you have a large hill to tackle late in your ride, you're going to be unpleasantly surprised at its capability. Moving into the frame and geometry of the bike. The Himiway Rambler really has a nice looking step-through frame, which offers easy mounting for the bike even with cargo on the back. The frame appears well built, and it has a pleasant appearance with good paint and some sleek looks. Now the frame does show a lot of flex during use, despite the additional tubing which was used to reinforce the lower section. This flex is especially noticeable in the lower section of the frame when you shake it side to side while riding. Now, the Rambler is definitely intended for urban riding on primarily paved surfaces. Its 27.5-inch wheels have good clearance from the frame. And the front fork on the Himiway Rambler is a short travel 80mm fork, which has an air suspension coil that allows you to adjust the pressure. It seemed to be a nice upgrade over hydraulic coil suspension components. However, I did find that the fork's air pressure was not properly tuned right out of the box, sitting at around 70 psi. At this air pressure, the short 80mm travel was quickly used up, and I found the fork would bottom out over any kind of impact. Sitting on the bike at this low air pressure also seemed to use up more than half of the travel. The fork does have an air pressure adjustment as well as a lockout. So I utilized that adjustment and brought the PSI up to 105 PSI, which greatly improved the shock's performance. Looking at the bike's size and height range, we see a one-size-fits-all style bike, which claims to fit riders ranging from 5 feet 2 inches to 6 feet 4 inches tall. After taking a look at the bike's geometry, it seems this range is exaggerated. Personally, I found the bike felt a bit small for my leg length, as it was unable to extend the seat post enough to get the correct pedal position. While the bike was manageable for me at 6 feet tall, I don't think it would be comfortable for taller riders. A more realistic height range would probably be 5'2" to 5'8", based on the measurements and size charts that are available for these types of bikes. After riding the bike, I could see users up to 6 feet tall fitting the bike and being able to enjoy riding it, but I wouldn't recommend it for taller riders. Taking a look at those measurements on the bike, we have a seat tube measurement of 15.5 inches, a reach measurement of 17 inches, stack measurement of 19.2 inches, standover height of 18.1 inches, a virtual top tube length of 22.2 inches, a minimum saddle height of 33 inches, and a max saddle height of 38.5 inches. with a wheelbase of 46.4 inches, which gives us a recommended rider height of 5'2" to 6'4". But based on the measurements and available size charts, it's more like 5'2" to 5'8", with the bike still being usable for individuals up to 6 feet tall. Moving into display and control. The Rambler uses a Bafeng DPC240 LCD display, which is black and white and has a 1.75-inch screen. The display is controlled by a 3-button control pad, and it offers an advanced options menu as well. The bike also has a USB port for charging devices, which is located on the side of the display and protected by a rubber cap. A key is not required for operation of the bike, and the bike doesn't have any features to lock it to prevent it from being turned on. The lights are all integrated into the bike's electronics, and they have an auto on-off feature, which is controlled by a sensor on the bike's display. You can turn the bike on by pressing and holding the power or menu button. And after the display turns on, you're going to see the battery level, which is displayed as both a bar and a percentage. This is a nice touch. The current speed and a lower information section. The info section can be changed by single-clicking the power button, which will cycle through some useful settings, such as max speed, average speed, odometer, trip info, current power output in watts, and a range estimate. These extra features are nice to have, but they're also displayed as a small set of numbers and letters at the bottom of the display, which can make it very hard to read while you're riding. The up and down buttons control the assist levels, and they allow you to access a walk mode, which has to be activated by pressing down until you go past 0 and see a walk icon on the display. Then you can use the lower button to press and hold to activate that walk mode. The display also has additional settings, which can be accessed by holding the up and down buttons at the same time. When the advanced menu comes up, you can access 2 lists, settings and information. Settings contains all the attributes that can be modified on the bike, and the info section only gives you information with no changes being able to be made. The display also has some nice built-in options, but it doesn't allow you to change some of the more advanced settings, such as battery voltage levels for the battery meter, speed limit, wheel size, and some of the other attributes, which means that it does have less customization available than other displays that we've used. When it comes to the motor, the Rambler Premium uses a 500-watt nominal mid-drive motor from Bafeng, which offers 120 Nm of torque at its max output. The motor has 3 sensors, 1 torque sensor and 2 speed sensors to turn your pedal power into motor output. They do a good job controlling the bike, which results in a very intuitive and natural riding experience. The motor is quick to accelerate in the right gear, but it didn't perform very well in our 0 to 20 tests, simply because of its characteristics. The bike needs to move through the gearing to go from a dead stop to 20 miles per hour. This takes a few moments, since you need to be careful when shifting a mid-drive motor while it's under power, in order to avoid drivetrain damage. This resulted in a higher 0 to 20 time during testing, but the bike is fast to accelerate if you're already in motion, where it can take advantage of a single gear to accelerate without the need to change gears. I also found that despite the motor's high torque output, it was a slower climber than most bikes that we'd tested. It completed both the small and medium hill climb tests at slower speeds than other bikes we've tested recently. So the Rambler seems to be more of a relaxed e-bike for recreational riders. It's not an overly fast climber or capable of continuous high-speed riding without putting in lots of pedal power. In our acceleration test, we managed to go from 0 to 20 in 13 seconds using the throttle, and in 12 seconds using the maximum pedal assist level. The Rambler also completed both our small and medium hill climbs. For our small hill climb, we completed that in a total time of 3 minutes and 9 seconds at an average speed of 18.3 miles per hour, which is slightly slower than other units we've tested recently. And the medium hill climb was completed in 3 minutes and 5 seconds with an average speed of 12.6 miles per hour. so the bike is a little bit of a slower climber than some other units that we've tested recently and is more suitable for relaxed recreational riders. Next, taking a look at the battery and the charger. We have a 48 volt, 15 amp hour battery, which is well sized for both the motor and was capable of an extended range when it's combined with that power conscious mid-drive motor. The bike was able to exceed 31 miles at maximum assist, which is a great range for the bike. The battery is internally mounted on the bike, with easy key access on the up or down tube. After you unlock the battery, it pops out of the frame to be removed. And reinserting the battery is just as easy. You simply line up the lower battery connections and push the battery into the frame to click into its lock position. The 15 amp hour, 720 watt hour battery is not currently UL certified, but Himiway does note that the UL 2849 certification is in progress. The battery is charged with a 54.6 volt, 3 amp charger, which offers a slight upgrade over a slower 2 amp output charger, and this allows the bike to recharge in 5 to 6 hours. The charge port is located on the opposite side of the key slot, and it's protected by a nice fitting rubber plug. The battery can also be charged when it's removed from the bike with the same charger. We managed to go a total of 31.28 miles, or 1,549 feet elevation change over 2 hours and 5 minutes at an average speed of 15 miles per hour in our range test, which is a further distance than most other competitors are capable of at the maximum assist setting. Turning down the assist also saw some great results. I was able to maintain a speed of almost 15 miles per hour average while increasing the range by 10 miles at an assist level of 3 on the Rambler. At that assist level of 3, I managed to complete a range test of 42.62 miles over 2 hours and 44 minutes. The Rambler has a nice 9-speed drivetrain from Shimano. It features an Altus shifter and derailleur paired with a 46-tooth crank and 13 to 32-tooth cassette. The combined gearing allows the bike to operate effectively up to its 25 mph speed limit, with little ghost pedaling evident at higher speeds. The 9-speed group set also allows you to more effectively compensate for inclines or high speeds, to ensure that you're always applying the right amount of torque and you can find a comfortable cadence. I was happy with the drivetrain and found the Altus shifter to be a nice upgrade from cheaper tourney setups. The gearing is well matched to the bike and its capabilities, but the bike would benefit from a shift sensor, since the mid-drive motor needs to be operated with care during shifting, to ensure you're not putting unnecessary stress on the drivetrain. Careful shifting was enough to prevent issues. However, attempting to shift up or down multiple gears at once is a recipe for disaster with this unit. The Rambler Premium uses a set of Tektro HD E350 hydraulic brakes for stopping power. These are a pleasant and powerful set of brakes that offer reliable operation, and it's a great upgrade over the mechanical brakes that are seen on the base model of the Rambler. The 2-piston brakes are coupled with 180mm rotors and offer good performance. I found them to be pleasant to use and quiet during stopping, with significantly less noise from the rotors and calipers than other cheaper brake setups. The bike is equipped with the standard motor inhibitors on the brakes, which ensure quick stops while under power. The levers also feature a reach adjustment, which is controlled by a set screw located on the inner surface of the lever. This is visible when looking at the levers from the side. The brakes are reliable and confident, bringing the bike to a stop in 18.5 feet during testing. This is a better result than most e-bikes we test, beating out competitors by half a foot to 1.5 feet in most cases. The Rambler rolls on a set of 27.5 by 2.4 inch wheels from Innova Tire. They're a commuter style tire with a reflective halo on the sidewall for visibility. The tires don't appear to feature puncture protection, and they're not tubeless ready. They feature a light tread pattern that's suited to urban riding. During use, the tires performed well on pavement and hard-packed gravel, but they did lose some traction on looser surfaces, while still maintaining reasonable float with their 2.4 inch width. The bike has aluminum fenders which are included on both the front and rear wheels, and did a good job keeping you free of water and road debris. The Rambler comes equipped with some nice accessories right out of the box, including a bright front headlight, a rear light, fenders, and a rear rack for the bike. It also features some additional attachment points on the head tube for attaching a front rack. When it comes to touch points, the Rambler is well equipped. It includes a set of faux leather grips which have ergonomic flares. These are a set of slip-on grips that can move onto the bars on the right circumstances, and I'd love to see an upgrade to a lock-on grip to replace these, but I didn't really mind the grips during testing, finding them to be fairly comfortable underhand and a good platform for placing weight into. The saddle is a Cell Royal saddle branded with the Himiway logo. The seat offers additional padding and a wider base than some of the more sport-style saddles, and this resulted in a comfortable seat that's well suited to the recreational or commuter use that the bike is designed for. I found the seat to be comfortable during testing, even after 30 miles. The bike's pedals are a typical set of aluminum platform pedals, which offer fine traction for most shoe types. The small metal pegs are better than plastic pegs that we see on other bikes, and they're offering a slight upgrade, but the aluminum pedals are a budget option, which many people are probably going to want to upgrade. But they are going to get you out riding with no issues right out of the box, so no complaints from me. Himiway shows consistency throughout the lineup of bikes that they produce, and the Rambler is no exception, offering a range of great features and attributes that are going to make many riders happy. The bike is not without its minor drawbacks though, so users should spend some time checking out the 3 build options, as well as to ensure that the sizing is going to work for them based on their height and body type. I can see many riders loving the Rambler, but tall riders may feel cramped on the bike. The mid-drive motor was also a big plus for me, but I was also unimpressed by the decrease in power at lower battery levels. Despite this, the Rambler was a wonderful bike in most circumstances, and I can see that it's going to make an effective commuting bike for many riders, as it can definitely handle a variety of terrain which you're going to find in urban situations. So if you're looking for a great mid-drive commuter bike or a nice recreational bike with a comfortable step-through frame and multiple build options, the Rambler might just be the bike for you. Is this the bike for you? Check out the detailed specs at bikeride.com and see user and expert reviews. You can also check out other great e-bikes and see them rated to find your perfect match. Do you have a question or something you want to say? Let me know in the comments and we'll start getting you some answers. If you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe so we can keep on bringing you the latest e-bike reviews and news. I'm Scott with bikeride.com. I want to say thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy the ride.